Of it. Out all the basics I think of, you know, kid looking for work, the basics. Look at the mirror in here. It's at no fault. I'm just saying, just common sense. I come in here to talk about something else, and I see that mirror. I'm not even really for sure. It's had something sprayed on it, and it never got cleaned off, like over a week ago. And it wasn't Windex. But no, she for real yesterday cleaned out the haircut. The biggest thing that got this going was me wanting a haircut because she gave me 3 last summer. And my hair was like longest since I was a 14, 15-year-old standout teenager. Try to be rebel without a cause. That was 13 to 14. Quit calling me in the middle of my videos, man. You're interrupting me on purpose. Haha, the mirror. I need the mirror. But no, what was I going to say real quick? The other day, roommate, woke up this way. I don't even know if I got Windex or window cleaner. But anyway, you can do it with other stuff. The other day, I'm telling roommate, she got me this shirt, like summer 2019. I'm like, the other morning, I'm like, you know, you got me this shirt? She's like, yeah, I know, I remember. I mean, she did. She got me some shirts early on into that deal. T-shirts. I'd be somewhere else, and she came back with shirts and perfectly pick out my size. I was going to talk about physical therapy. I need to be doing it for real. I got a set of Bowflex dumbbells, you know. I'm just not going to say I got a set of dumbbells. I got a set of Bowflex dumbbells. And I've had them since like late 2007. And they're already like the plastic deal, the plastic around each individual weight, because you can turn the dial and select the weight. I mean, that's like brittle, easily to crack. And then for a number of years now, you got to press the handle down while you turn the dial on one more than the other. But they're still doable. They're still workable. They're still usable. I mean, even though I know, or, you know, I've cleaned them up, put a little oil in them or something, you know, like WD-40 or something more sufficient or applicable. I was thinking about physical therapy, but I think unless I just incorporate it in the meantime, I got other deadlines on my mind. And then if I have to do a lot of typing or pecking on these little screens, like who wants to type an essay on that or a formal email or to have to do a lot of something, be it from file your taxes email? Who wants to just put in a lot of info on a phone? If I do it very long, it's hurting things that I've already got hurting, you know, for real. I mean, this thing is, I've had it totally dislocated one time in my life, and it hung just limp. You know, when it's a partial dislocation, it's in a bind. I'm bent over with my arm hanging. And been to the ER over that like 2 or 3 times. And one time I never got admitted in all the way between 2 different ERs. I'm like, it went back in. I mean, it took a little while to get used to this. And then I would have to, and I learned at times when it was to be weak like that. I'm fortunate that it's not bad now. I mean, I still have pain, and just when it gets abnormally weak, it has a weird pain to it. Not a sharp pain, just a dull, weird, achy sensation. If I do a lot of typing on a full keyboard, it makes it weak. I need to do my triceps. They're weak right now. My triceps on both sides. I'm not as big as I was the other day. That was just coming off of splitting wood or something. A temporary pump. People know about that. You can lift weights for just a little bit and temporarily get your muscle pumped up. Makes it bigger. Probably need to stay hydrated. Was there anything important I was going to say? I guess I covered it, really. I slept, but no. Haircut worked out pretty good. That's what got kid here yesterday. But if I was thinking, even roommate, she'd been somebody. Out of the 3 of us, including teenager, out of the 2 adults pushing 40, nobody like basics. Hey, would you wipe down the mirror? Or why have we not doing it? Individually, collectively, whatever. It takes 2 people to do it. No. I've been worried about my, I got some deadline stuff I need to do. And I don't get to use mine. I might could if I just delete a bunch of stuff or transfer a bunch of stuff. Low memory deal. I never, even when I got that device, I said, it's got enough memory to last me a long while. I was right at the time, but then I didn't know extraordinary circumstances would happen where I felt the need to save stuff, online backup, and there's one entity I went with over the other to pick for online backup. I'm like, well, it really won't matter what it won't matter. I can get on almost any, if I have access to the internet, I can get to my online stuff. I realize that we're still below 30 degrees. About 8:10 a.m., 28th day of January, year 2022. This morning's cooler than yesterday's morning, I think. That's unique. And on this note, I'm saying kid the cleaner and personal barber. The time when she was here, it was soon after that, or later that year, after her and her sister and mother, we quit dating, to say plainly. She had a goldfish tank, and I ended up getting fish. Now I'm paying her to clean out my fish tank. Anyway, I knew she had prior experience. That's how she's how I ended up having fish indirectly. And that first summer, 2016, same kid, how I started using this underwater. I'd had it for like half a year, but keep in mind, I got it like December 2015, had my eye on it way before that, and it did get cheaper, but I was wanting it, and even back then, when I was first seeing this particular camera, it was priced basically at $200 before tax, and I ended up getting it when it was like around $170. So I don't know, why would I not just go ahead and spend the $200 to get a good all-around camera, and that's not got the huge lens and pocket easily. I want another one. The buttons don't work. Some of them. Never used Wi-Fi on it ever. Don't even know how. Lots of features on it. I don't know how. It's got Wi-Fi. I don't know what it all can do. And anyway. It was one day we're, down at the river, her and her, I don't know who was all there. I think it was just me, her, and her mother. And I remember she asked, she's like, can I check out your camera or use your camera? And I'm like, yeah, be careful with it. And it'd be about the only thing you do. If you had the lid open and dropped it, that would be dangerous, or got a bunch of water in there. It has to snap shut, it's got the seal. But other than that, you don't have to be too careful with it. And, there's already scratches on the screen. Well, anyway, she comes back with water. That's when I realized, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm like, it takes underwater video? Because I'd never done it. I just really thought of it as being waterproof. I never really thought about the underwater video feature, I don't think, and saw any usable concept to that. But then thereon, it was like, oh, wow, I can do this. I can use this. And, I don't know at what time I'm swimming behind in that same area, swimming behind a cottonmouth, aka water moccasin, that was over a foot in length during broad daylight, best I remember. It wasn't at night. I did do one basically after sunset, but I've just encountered those snakes a lot over the years in river bottoms, in thickets, where there's spring sources, just in a habitat where they would commonly be. And if you're in a wooded area that has beaver dam, those kind of snakes are going to be there, especially in a state like that. And I can't help it. I'm just coming off of how my mother was, like, don't kill snakes in general unless you have a really, really good reason. And, other people, I don't get it. I guess each to their own, but most people, they're like, oh, a venomous snake or a poisonous snake. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Come on. I learned years ago, too, and I'll repeat it again. The famous biologist Jeff Corwin said on a national syndicated TV show, or beyond national, 70-some-odd% of snake bites involve alcohol. And he added the joke to it, to make the point. It wasn't the snake that was drinking. And then I even talked over the phone years ago to one of the Arkansas State herpetologists. Don't even know his name, but I had a good conversation with him over the phone. And I told that to him, and he said, the redneck's last beer. The redneck's last word. Hold my beer. That meaning as he goes off to play with the poisonous snake and he dies. So the point is, like in this state, maybe even nationally, there's probably not a lot of snake bites. And I've had my hand by a black widow spider a lot and didn't know until after the fact. But I'm not I'm not saying let a black widow nest in your house, or a brown recluse, or in some cases not even you depending on where you live, you could have snakes up underground like copperheads in a flower bed, or up under your house. You never know. I'm saying depending on your situation, depending on how often you have guests in after dark, or what size of the family. I mean, I don't know. It's like he ended up dying doing though. He ended up dying doing what he loved, and I can't think of his name right now. The Australian guy. His name is not in my brain right now. I could almost say it. I'm not going to keep thinking. It would come to me at some point, but I'm not going to wait for that. I don't even know how I come up with Jeff Corwin, but I did. And I saw him on TV a lot less than this other guy. I'm talking about the Australian who had the American wife. And what was it that got him in the chest? A stingray. And I remember that early to mid 2000s. More of the early 2000s. I was sad to hear about that. I didn't. If I add to it, Oprah interviewed him or showed a clip, and the kid starts talking about his dad. He's tearing up. The son, who's younger than his older sister, who ended up having her own TV show. Oh, I cannot think of his Steve Irwin. There it went. Well, all the humans are asleep in the house. So, Jasmine, let's have a conversation. You're depressed? I would be too. We'll talk about the rest later. We'll make it private, confidential, no camera. I don't know, this was in the house the other day. I don't know, a wall. I don't know who it come from. I didn't buy it, so I know. I'm certain I didn't. I remember seeing I was just in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I was taking my grandmother to a pulmonologist or some kind of respiratory expert, and he had the outside edges or something similar to that bunny did not get too detailed on his tattooed on his forearm. I remember seeing that. I wonder what that means. I mean, he's probably at least age 50. Let me just kind of psychologically profile that. I think if it were me, if I were at that age by then, if I wasn't doing something to eradicate a tattoo, I don't know what the process nowadays is to do that, but I think I would be getting it covered up. It would either be more of a different kind of bunny or turned into a flower or something. Each to their own. I don't know what it means to him, but it looked like that bunny. Should I upload this or not? That is the question. No, I like doing my little temperature deal more, when it fluctuates. Even in the summer, I mean, summer 2018, we was having heat indexes commonly, 108 degrees, 110 degrees, and it was humid. I just happen to remember those times. For me to try to tell you what summer 2010 was doing, I have not a clue. I think we had maybe drought-like conditions in or about that year. No, I don't know. I don't know year 2010. It's spring 2009 or 10 is when the tsunami hit off of Japan. I remember things like that. About the same time, unrelated to the tsunami, Japan was no longer the world's third largest economy. I'm not going to get into that. I could tie that into other things that I just picked up along the way and didn't try. But due to interest and other factors and it associating to other things, I just retain it. And there's a lot of things I don't retain that I want to retain. And then, it's the human brain, man. It's the hard drive may be unlimited, but you just compare it to RAM over ROM. You don't do it enough repetition, it's not going to stick in there. Or it don't create a full wrinkle, or it don't do enough time screw wrinkle. I don't know what they used to always say, when you learn something new, it puts another wrinkle in your brain. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably is, or something along those lines. Aluminum. They say aluminum is drinking out of it, more so cooking with it, heating it up like an aluminum percolator or skillet or saucepan I've been hearing for up to 20 years or more, 20, 21 years, a study indicated that it was linked to Alzheimer's. Nuns could have been associated to the study. I remember a high school teacher telling me whether or not it was associated to the aluminum or not, but something with a study with nuns and Alzheimer's. That virtually, what I remember, I didn't read this, I was told, unless it was in like a sociology book, something about nuns living, on average to an older age and not developing Alzheimer's. But I don't remember what else was associated to it. I think that they maintain an active, into older years, if they were just still active. They were active brain-wise, mentally, intellectually. I don't know if diet was associated. I don't remember the associations. It seems like I remember something about nuns study Alzheimer's. Don't know, and I don't know, that part I seem to remember as a definite, whether or not aluminum factored in, but it seems like aluminum was brought up in the same conversation, whether or not it associated with the potential non-Alzheimer's study. I don't know. That's going back again to like senior year of high school. And I don't know if at that time I knew about the aluminum. I may have. At 14, I almost got put on the 13 years of age, 14, end on this note. And I guess it's still around. I thought they took it off the market, but I guess they did. But anyway, there's an acne medication that was called Accutane. And I'm already seeing like once a month over a period of time in Glenwood, Arkansas, where they showed up out of their main office from Hot Springs, Arkansas. They don't even be there like once a month or ever so often. They just do a one-time visit for that localized area. And, seeing a dermatologist, I saw more than one, I tried monocycline, doxycycline. Was this good during my hormonal raging years? I don't know. I don't think it did anything bad to me. I probably already was past the peak on that by 12 to 13, and I don't know why I had the bad acne deal. But I did eat a lot of sweets, and from like 11 to almost 13, kinda, and I don't know if that played a role or not, but yeah, I went through doxycycline, monocycline, like a pill either once a day, twice a day. What was it? More or less an antibiotic. I'm on a pill to help stop acne, and I don't know that it did anything in that regard. I didn't see major good results. I got put on the prescription Retin A. Put the cream on your face at night, man. 10 minutes later, your face is burning until you get used to it. It was making you regenerate a new layer of skin faster than usual. And it'd make your skin look fresher. It'd dry it out. I could have met some women in their 30s or 40s that'd pay some high dollars on the street market. I got prescription Retin A. You can't get this on the shelf. It's got the real stuff in it. Retin A for fine lines and wrinkles. Which I didn't have no fine lines or wrinkles, but I had on my nose a lot of blackheads, foreheads, below my temples. I literally got scars to this day, but I was going to get put on Accutane. And on this note, the key point is what I learned out of it is pregnant women were not even to touch it. And even as a man, whatever age, or a boy, you were to get, they wanted to at least test your liver before you even got approved to take it. They acted like I remember that doctor, I will say that. Even, left with a pamphlet showing before and after photos, the results of it. You took it for like 6 months, and it was supposed to get rid of acne for up to 10, 15 years. But anyway, they act, then whatever doctor I had, I don't think it was the female one, it was the male one, because I did see a female one at that same time. I saw 2 or 3 over the span of time, a short span of time. And, like within half a year. And then thankfully, on my next visit, after Accutane is brought up, he's like, whoa, you're improving. We're not going to go that direction. And that probably turned out to be a blessing. And but I remember sitting in the back seat of my mom's blue Dodge Spirit car. I mean, leaving the appointment that day in the back seat, looking through the pamphlet, and seeing like a before and after photo of somebody's back, showing really, really bad acne on their upper back. And then the after photo, I don't know, however many months later, the results. And it showed people's face in a certain section. And I remember it was just a pamphlet. I don't know if it got into all the cautionary statements about it or not, but but aside from that pamphlet, I mean, it was like a little cardboard, it was like a 4 by whatever, 3 by 4, 4 by 4, 4 by 6. I mean, it was a little cardboard pamphlet you flip through and to consider it. But I mean, just the doctor determined, dermatologist alone was really just said, hey, if we go this direction, if you're not better by the next visit, we want you to think about doing this direction, but it's a very serious deal, and you got to be medically approved before you can get on it. And I don't know if he told me that pregnant women weren't supposed to touch it. I probably read it in that pamphlet, and or whatever, that brochure pamphlet thing that they gave. And anyway, I'm just glad I didn't have to go through that. And I thought, 10 plus years later, it was taken off the market, and it seemed like somebody corrected me on that, and that's not true. But I've known for a while now that certain medications are not to be taken when a woman is pregnant, early stages of pregnancy, or about to be pregnant. I'm going to say during the first half of pregnancy is probably more important than the latter half of pregnancy, because it's probably when more of the brain development is taking place, depending on whatever medication it could be. And I'll try to end on this note. And I'd have to look up this movie. I have a vague memory of it, or maybe a specific memory, but very few memories. I don't know how old I was on this. I was definitely younger than 13. My mother watched the movie, and if she hadn't pointed this part out, I wouldn't remember it. I barely remember a scene in the movie. I mean, it looked like a movie made somewhere in the upper 80s, maybe early 90s, and it was based on a true story. And all I know is I barely remember a few scenes on television. I think we first got satellite Prime Star when I was like, I don't know what age. So I guess there was content coming in the house, by the time I was 10 or older. 9 or up, somewhere in there. I actually remember the day they installed it, and that dish is still over there in that yard. A man came out with his son, and burying coaxial cable from the dish deal to the house, and it was a hot day too. And my stepbrother was there, unofficial stepbrother. My mother was never married to his father. Not that it would have mattered, but where was I going? Oh, the movie, Mom, true story. The woman apparently she'd been married for a while. I don't think she ever had a child at all, but she had some kind of mental disorder, be it like a severe mental disorder where she had to take medication to regulate it. So she was like either severely schizophrenic or bipolar, manic depressive, whatever the correct terminology would be, and they've changed some of that over the years. Anyway, she pre-planned this. I don't know if her and her husband, it seemed like she had a husband in the movie. I'd almost have to look this up, but I mean, it's almost admirable. I mean, it is admirable what the woman done, and she chose to do it and did it more so than her husband. I don't know if they had considered an abortion. I don't remember the details of it, but I guess to try just to hit the key high points is apparently she had a husband. She knew she was on medications that were going to be harmful to a developing child, fetus, a baby, and she chose, while she was considered sane on her medications, she did legal paperwork, and I think it would even prevent her legal husband from altering it or whatever, but she said, either A, I'm pregnant, B, I'm going to be pregnant, or I think it was more so A, I'm already pregnant, or anyway, or I think it was a planned pregnancy. I don't really know. I wish I knew that specifically, but either way, she said she got to the point of pregnancy, and I wouldn't think her knowing what she knew about the medications, trying to go over in hindsight on this, I don't think she would have pre-planned it that way. But or maybe so, maybe she had to get pregnant up until, but you still wouldn't want that kind of medication built up in your system. Well, anyway, long story short is way I look at it, and I could be wrong, plenty of room for error in this commentary. She basically checked herself in for the duration of the pregnancy, and to be in a safe place where she could have 24/7 supervision, and said, I don't want any medication whatsoever because I'm going to have a baby, and I don't want the medication to interfere. And the reason I'm pre-planning this and doing this, it was all for her to have a successful pregnancy. So I remember that, and I just remember that, and I don't know if at the moment if I was old enough to comprehend that. Wow, that's a big deal choice. That's a big. I don't know, but it's in my memory. Anyway, it's filed in a memory to some imperfect degree. Human memory opposed to a physical hard drive. Stop there.